Yeah.
Bye. Oh, Jason, nice. Good on. Good for him.
Okay, I posted in every team thing. Hopefully people will start talking about at least one more minute.
Play the music off.
And then I'm gonna
What's
try.
up, guys? Some of you are muted, some of you are muted, but we'll give it another couple minutes to let people hop on real quick. But we are excited to do the call tonight. Excited to have Bree talk, so we'll let her get going here in a little bit, but we'll let some more people hop on. But happy Sunday, end of a weekend. Hope everyone had a wonderful it's Thanksgiving and weekend in general. But yeah, we're excited to have her share, and I think you'll have some really good nuggets of info. Some of you guys, this is your first team call. Like I always say, we never make anyone speak because some people don't like to talk, which is fine, but we'll mute everyone and just listen in on the good info, because part of growing your business and becoming a coach is showing up for team calls, because you never know what you might hear. And I've been on team calls before to where, I was tired or I didn't want to do it, and I hopped on and whoever was talking or somebody said something that like hit me right in the face, and I was like, wow, thank God I got on this call tonight because I needed to hear that. So
And I'm going to be taking notes.
Which is good.
Yes.
But yeah, we appreciate everyone hopping on the call. Looks like some other people are hopping on.
Nice.
So we'll give it another couple minutes before Bree starts sharing so more people can hear what she has to say. But let me make sure everyone's muted. Okay, good. But yeah, it's Sunday evening. What date is it? 27?
It's the 27th.
27. So we got like 3 days left in the month or something. 29, 30. 3 days left. 3 days left in the month. And then we're moving in December, which is obviously the last month of the year, which is pretty wild and crazy. So we still have a few days to really lock in, helping people with Getting to Success Club if you need to do that, and building the momentum leading into December at the end of the year. I did a really awesome call with Lindsay, who's on my team, a couple hours ago, and I was stressing to her and talking to her that, this time of the year is vital because a lot of people will quit or kind of fall off the bandwagon because it is the holiday season. But it's important to stay on track because people are watching you. And you may not think it's true, but they're watching you and seeing all you guys hitting your workouts and sharing, and they're waiting. They're waiting and buying their time. They're like, well, maybe. I think it's us. Somebody is. But they want to see if you're going to stick to it, and the more you stick to it, the more chance they're going to reach out after the first of the year and in the coming months, because you as coaches, as much as you may not think so, our leaders and people are looking at you. Whether you're a new coach, you've been doing this for a while, and you have to show up for yourself and for the team, but the people that follow you and your challengers to show them this is what it takes. And, this is the time of year that it is probably the most important, because this is when people stop working out the most. So push through your workouts, keep sharing, keep talking to people, keep inviting, keep setting the example with health and fitness, because that's what it's all about, obviously. So It is 9:03.
So we won't
and
waste any more time.
Won't waste any more time, but it is recorded. I got that going, so we're all good there. But we want to thank everyone for coming on the call tonight. Really appreciate it. We want to thank Bree Henley, who is going to be speaking tonight.
We're so excited.
She is awesome. She is a rock star.
I think you started right after us, or we started in January last year. So I think
she started
or around the same time. Yeah.
Yeah.
But she's been killing it.
Yeah.
So I know that her story has inspired me. So that is why I asked her to speak to all of you guys, because if it inspires me, I know it's going to inspire you, and especially new coaches. You obviously hear her story. So yeah, we're really excited. I guess you can just take it away, Bree, and you can either unmute yourself and just kind of go for it.
Yeah.
And we'll mute ourselves. But
hey guys, thanks for having me on. I'm like nervous after that intro. I'm like, I gotta live up to this expectation now. So thanks for having me on tonight. You guys are on an awesome team with awesome leaders. Court and Cam hosted my team call last week, and they freaking rocked it. Like 4 of my coaches went live right after the video and were like, oh my God, I just had the best call ever. Like, you can achieve your dreams. You can move to an island. Like, life is at, your fingertips. So it was really cool to have them on last week. So hopefully my story can inspire you, and I can share some nuggets with you guys that I've learned along the way. So I just hit my 1.5 year mark of coaching this month. So I joined at the end of April last year. So 1.5 years now. It's crazy how fast that goes by and how quickly the 1.5 years has been. But though you look back and it feels like it's been 10 lifetimes, sometimes it feels like it's been a week. So it just depends on the day, really. But I got started right out of college as a coach. I had been following Amy for a while. On Instagram, of course, is where most people find her. And I just knew I wanted more out of life. Like many of you guys who are coaches, like, you don't want the 9 to 5, especially as a post-grad. You have 4 years of freedom, and then you go. Most of my friends were going and getting jobs they hated. They were being tied to a cubicle, and they would call me crying all the time because they were so miserable with the work that they were doing. And I just knew that wasn't for me. I had worked a corporate 9 to 5, and I was the girl in the cubicle, like literally banging my head on the desk because I was so miserable, so bored, and I just wasn't motivated. And knowing that the sky is the limit with coaching is what really motivated me and what really brought me in. And I had always been into health and fitness, but I had never really been able to commit to myself and my own fitness journey until becoming a coach. So it's been awesome to have the transformation with my own fitness journey, and then also build a business for doing what we love, right? That's what brings us all here. So I got started, like I said, last April. But my coaching journey is probably not what some of you guys expect. Like, there was nothing about me during my entire first year of coaching where anyone would ever think that I would be a successful coach. There's a lot of failure, a lot of mistakes, a lot of hitting walls, a lot of times where I had contemplated, is this for me? Can I do this? Can I be a coach? Maybe it's not for me. Maybe I'm just a failure and I got to go work a corporate 9 to 5. These are all normal thoughts to have, and they hit me pretty much every couple months throughout my coaching journey. I think I messaged Amy every quarter saying, I'm out. I can't do this. It's not for me. But so we're going to rewind a little bit, and I'll kind of walk you guys through my first year of coaching and kind of share with you how I progressed and the obstacles I have overcome, and hopefully it can inspire you to keep going when the times get tough and keep pushing through the negative thoughts and the limiting beliefs that pop up into your mind when you want to throw in the towel as well. So, like I said, I started last April, and I didn't hit Emerald until July. So it took me April, May, June, 4 months to hit Emerald, and I actually went Emerald at Summit last year. The very first day of Summit, I went Emerald. I met Amy, and I was meeting all the Set Your Soul on Fire crew. So it was the best day of my whole life. But I went Emerald because I decided that it was time for me to take my business forward. Because up until July, I wasn't really talking about the coaching opportunity. I was really just sharing about my fitness journey, about my challenge groups, and I wasn't really putting myself out there that, hey, I'm doing this cool coaching thing and you can join me. It was really just more about fitness, and I didn't really share that I have this business opportunity that people can jump in on because I was afraid. I didn't want to sound salesy. I didn't want people to like think that I was just some salesperson who just wanted to join my team for me, like for my own gain. So I never really shared about it. And that was like coaching 101 of things not to do with your social media, because you always want to be talking about the opportunity, both challenger and coaching. So like my first few months, I never even spoke about like that I had a team and people could join me on this team. It wasn't really until I made myself Emerald, I set up my mom and my boyfriend to go Emerald, that I was kind of like putting it out into the universe that I was ready to do this thing and I was ready to become a team and build a team and become a leader and start attracting people to my community to start building. But I had a very, 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 very slow growth during my first year as a coach. Like tortoise slow, like very slow. I always hit Success Club because it's non-negotiable for myself, as it should be for everyone else here. Because, you know, if you're not hitting Success Club and helping people, then you're not doing your duty as a coach, which is to help people. And, you know, if helping 3 people reach their goals each month is nothing crazy. It's not out of hand or out of reach. It's totally doable, and everyone should be hitting Success Club, if nothing else, in your business monthly. So fast forward to November, and this was kind of the turning point for me in my business, because up until November, I had not been sending out invites. I had never sent out an invite to someone. I was pretty much just working off my warm market. I had always been into health and fitness, so like me becoming a coach was kind of just like a duh for like all of my friends and everyone in my network already. So I never really, there were months where Success Club was more challenging than other months, but really just from me sharing in my social media, sharing my fitness journey, I was hitting at least Success Club 5 each month without sending out invites. And then November rolled around, and it was Team Cup month. So I was on a Team Cup team. It was me, Amy Silverman, and Kate Cash. So being a brand new coach, like 5-6 months into the business, you know, barely hitting Success Club. The month before that, I had like a really crazy month. I had a bunch of referrals, and so that's why Amy invited me to join her cup team. So I was super scared to be on this cup team, because Kate Cash has like 50,000 Instagram followers. Amy Silverman had been like cranking out Success Club 100 like all freaking summer. Then here I am, like new coach, hitting Success Club 5, Success Club 10 in a good month. Didn't know how I could pull my weight in this group on this team. And this is where I really learned a lot. And I learned about inviting, and I learned about, you know, taking no's and like not being personally offended by them. Because like I said, like I wasn't sending out invites. I was just afraid. I didn't want people to think that I was a salesperson. I didn't want people to think less of me. I had all these limiting beliefs and all these fears wrapped around inviting, because I wasn't viewing this as the gift that it is. I wasn't viewing this as that I have this Beachbody gift in my hand and I can change someone's life. I can help someone become the healthiest and happiest version of themselves, physically, financially, mentally. Like Beachbody is just the entire package, the entire gift. And I wasn't viewing it that way. I was just viewing it as I'm just doing this thing and I feel like kind of salesy doing it, which is I needed to have that mindset shift. And so last November was when I decided, okay, I need to start sending out invites. So I was sending out, 10, 20, 30, 40, sometimes 50 invites a day, every single day for the entire month. And it didn't stop there. It was a continual thing every month since then. And those seeds are what has been planting. I was planting those seeds, and now I'm reaping the benefits of those seeds today. But anyway, so, but I would be so scared when I was sending out these invites. Like I would have to type out my invite. I would have it all typed out, and then I have to close my eyes, push send, and throw my phone. And that's how I sent out my invites for like my entire first week in November, because they're scary. Getting outside of your comfort zone and doing things you're not used to doing can be scary. Just like if you have a post that makes you vulnerable, I do the same thing. I type it out. Even to this day, I type it out, I push send, I throw my phone, I go do something else, I forget about it, I come back, and then you forgot you even did it. You forgot you even sent out those invites. And so it's like a muscle that you have to build up and just continuously inviting it and putting yourself out there and doing these things to move forward in your business. So that was my first thing I had to overcome in November. And then I was dealing with all types of rejection. Of course, we're in marketing, we're in sales. So you get no's, you get that right no's. And it sometimes it's hard to take the emotion out of it. And I know as a new coach, I took everything so personally. Like I would literally cry when I would get a no. Like, and I know that sounds ridiculous now, but I would take everything so personally and I would be so upset every time I got a no. So the entire month of November was like this huge emotional roller coaster because I would be sending out all these invites that made me so scared. And then you're putting yourself out there. And if someone says no to you, you take that as if that's your problem. And I would cry. And Amy was like, dude, what the hell is your problem? Like it took a huge ass kicking from Amy to remind me to take the emotion out of it, that they're not saying no to you. They're not saying no to me. They're saying no to themselves. And they may not just be ready. It may not just be the right time for them. You know, they're going to come around with consistency and time and you showing up on your social media daily. And that is why, you know, we utilize our social media. We're always sharing our journey on there. And so a great book for that as well is called Go for No, I believe it's called. It's a really great book because no's are actually a good thing. You want to collect no's and, you know, down the road, they're going to turn into yeses. And they're going to be the people that you're working with down the road. So I guess my biggest tip there is, you know, don't take no's personally. Don't be afraid to send out invites. Because rejection is not something to be afraid of. It's something that you want to go for, because the more no's you collect, the more business that you're going to be building down the road. So November was like a banging month for me. I had Success Club, I think like 22. It was like my highest month ever so far in my coaching journey. It was awesome. And then December rolled around. So when December hit, I had somehow lost that momentum. I was still sending out my invites. I was still doing my vitals. You know, now I was doing this new vital behavior, AKA inviting, that I hadn't been doing during my first few months of coaching. So I was still building that momentum, except my no's were not changing to yeses during that month. And so another time in my business where I questioned, can I really do this? Is this for me? Can I be successful? You know, like when you're struggling with something, I think this happens in any journey, you know, your fitness journey, your business journey, just in life. When something challenging happens, you start to question, like, is this for you? Can you do this? And I know my whole life I had been like a jumper, like throughout sports, throughout like activities I did in college, like anytime the going got tough, I pieced out of there. I was like, okay, on to the next thing. And then I would try something new. And then when that thing got tough, I was like, all right, deuces, on to the next thing. I never really stuck it out to get over the hump, because with any journey, there's going to be ups and there's going to be downs, and you gotta like find a steady and you got to ride it out. And I was very bad at finding the steady. I was very much like caught up in the highs, and then I would get caught up in the lows. And it kind of plays with your mind, and you kind of go a little cuckoo like I was. So December rolled around, and it was the last day of the last month, or the last day of the month, and I was not in Success Club yet. I was at Success Club 4 on New Year's Eve, but you bet I sat my ass in my office on New Year's Eve, literally by myself, cranking out, sending out follow-ups, sending out invites, sending out, like, doing everything, because I wasn't going to let a month go by where I didn't hit Success Club. It was just a non-negotiable for me. And I know that making the sacrifices now for my business are going to pay off in the long haul and are going to pay off down the road. So I was okay with having no life on New Year's, and making my business a priority. And that's just, you know, I know that this is what I want my future to be. So I sat in my office, in my room on my computer on New Year's Eve, sending out invites, and like literally at 11 p.m. I hit Success Club. So January rolls around, and I went from, I think I had like 8 or 10 personally sponsored coaches. I wasn't almost diamond, but I had enough coaches where if they were working the business, maybe diamond would be realistic. But they all quit. So January rolls around, I go from emerald rank to coach rank. Like literally, I wasn't even an emerald coach anymore when January of this year, like 10 months ago, January, I wasn't even emerald coach. I was literally a coach rank. And that goes to show too, you know, from January till November, how much you can build your business when you start believing in yourself and you just start going after your dreams and going after what it is that you want. And you don't give up on yourself. Because when January rolled around and I went from coach rank to emerald rank, or emerald rank to coach rank, I'm like, shit, I'm taking another step back again. Like, should I quit? Is this for me? Can I do this? All of those thoughts kept rolling in again. And I said, okay, Bree, what are your alternatives? Are you going to, after spending the past 8 months coaching, are you going to quit? And you're going to go fill out a resume and go apply to a 9-to-5, put on a real bra, put on business clothes, and actually drive to work? Hell no. So I was like, okay, put my big girl pants back on. Let's get back at it. Let's start doing this thing again. So, in January, it was an okay month. I hit Success Club like I always did. I think I recruited like 2 coaches that month, which was pretty cool because starting out, I had 1 active coach in January. And then February went around. So February came around and I was almost at my 1-year mark. And, 1 year into doing this, people around me started questioning if I could do this. So when the people who are most supportive of you, like my parents, my brother, they were all like questioning, like, okay, Brie, you've been at this for almost a year now. You're kind of at the same spot now that you were a year ago. Like, do you really think that this can be a thing? Like that you can be successful? And when other people start questioning if you can do this, like that really, like if I hadn't already been questioning, can I do this? I was really questioning it in February. And again, like my quarterly message to Amy was like, I don't think I can do this. I'm out. And then again, I had to sit back and say, what are your alternatives? Brie, are you seriously going to go get a 9-to-5 job? And the answer again was no. So I put my big girl pants back on and I said, okay, like you got to get your life together. You got to figure this shit out and you got to make it happen because there's no plan B. Because I want to be a full-time coach. I want to make this my full-time career and I want to make this my future. And I know that no other job out there is going to give me what coaching can give me. It's not going to give me the freedom of my schedule. It's not going to have me focus on myself and help other people. It's not going to give me the fulfillment. Like no other job out there can give you what coaching can give you. And I realized that. And so it wasn't until April when I really stepped up. I went diamond. So it took me a year to go diamond. I went diamond and I kind of just decided, I just stepped into this leadership role. I wasn't ready to be a leader. I had no prior leadership skills because like I said, my whole life I had been like a jumper from activity to activity. I wasn't ready, but I just said, okay, if you want to make this happen, like you need to act the rank, you need to act like the leader that you want to be. So I just started faking it till I made it. I started acting like, I was this huge leader, like mentally, because that helped me like guide my team better. I started hosting weekly sneak peeks. Like, did I want to get on camera and host a sneak peek? Absolutely freaking not. Like talking on camera still makes me nervous to this day. Like that's why I'm really red right now because I'm shy and nervous. But you just gotta do it. Like, so I started running weekly sneak peeks for my team. And that's why I went diamond. Because I decided, I put it out there to the universe and I stepped up, I raised my standards and I just went for it. And so I went diamond in April. That was my biggest month. Yeah, I think I recruited 12 coaches because I was running my own sneak peeks. I had Success Club 30. And then ever since then, it had just been like a ripple effect. And all summer, like it was just like insane the growth I've had in my business because I just stepped up. I raised my standards and I said, there's no out, there's no plan B. You just got to make that happen for yourself. And I was in the national wake up call, like pretty much every week during the last few months of summer. I was working 12, 14 hours a day all summer because business was booming and you have to, when things are good, you have to know they're not always going to be that great forever. So you have to put in the time and put in the effort when business is booming. And so I was working 14-hour days. I had no life. I didn't have a social life. I literally was just sitting at my desk all summer doing this, making this happen. And then October came around. So last month, so this brings me up to last month. So all summer, things were insane. Like I had never, ever if I could have projected that to happen like this summer, I would have never in a million years guessed that things would have been so crazy. But all things come to an end. Business is very up and down, very, very up and down. So last month I had another all-time low. And even last month I questioned if I could do this, if I could be successful. And that's a year and a half into the business. Like these thoughts, I don't know if there's something that will ever go away. Maybe they will, like when you get to where Amy's at. But until that day, you have to just push them out and block them out. So in September, I had Success Club 70. And then October came And I started the month in negative Success Club 2. And then the first week rolls around, I'm still in negative Success Club 2. The second week rolls around, I'm still in freaking Success Club -2. I couldn't even remember the last time it was the second week of the month and I wasn't in Success Club 10. So this was like a huge reality check for me that business is very up and down, and that when things are tough, you're given these tasks, these lessons, these challenges for a reason. I grew so much last month as a person, as a leader, as a coach, as I revamped everything last month. Just in my personal development, I had to take it times 10. I had a 10x my invites. I had a 10x like literally everything last month, like just to hit Success Club. And that helped me grow, because I learned that, you know, when times are tough, you have to really dig deep. You have to dive into the community and connect with people on the team. That's why you have success partners. If you don't have a success partner, like go out and find 10. Like this is what's going to anchor you to the community. And when times are tough, you need someone to lean on. Like you need someone to help you pull your head out of your ass and say, dude, you can do this. Like look at your track record. Or, you know, even sometimes don't look at your track record. Look at where you're going. Look at your future is so bright. Like you can do this. And so that's why you really need to dive into the community and just like have the unwavering belief and faith. And I know, like, even last month, I got myself caught up in the highs and the lows, and it was an emotional roller coaster. Then this month has been like way more steady. But, you know, sometimes you get caught up in those old habits, and those thoughts they come creeping in, like that you're a failure and you can't do this and that. But that is the emotional roller coaster of a CEO. Like that is the entrepreneur roller coaster. And that there's a really great book. I think it's called like The Roller Coaster Ride of an Entrepreneur or something. I highly recommend it. It's amazing because it takes you through all the ups and downs that you're going to have as a CEO. And that's what you are. You're a business owner. You're a CEO. Like you have your own business, and it's not always going to be smooth sailing, but it's going to be worth it. And that's why you just need to suck it up, and you need to do your vitals, and you need to be showing up to your business daily, because what coaching can bring to you and is worth it. And it's going to be worth it in the long haul, but you just always have to remember your why and dig deep when you need to dig deep, and lean on your teammates and your upline and your downline and your sideline and your success partners, like when things are tough and you need the extra support. And that's why we're a team, and that's why we're a community too. You know, like you're not in this alone. The struggles that you're facing, we all face. The thoughts that you have of being a failure and not being able to do this, we all have. But we also all have the thoughts of like, hell yeah, I can do this. Like, hell yeah, like I'm a freaking rock star. And so you just have to play up those thoughts and play up the positive thoughts. And sometimes, you know, you can't always control the first thought. So if a negative thought comes in your head about like quitting or like not being able to do this, et cetera, you can't always control the first thought, but you can control the second thought, and you can control every other thought after that. So the next time a negative thought comes in your mind, you know, that's okay. Don't be mad at yourself, but just change the second thought and make the thoughts from there on out positive. And because your thoughts matter, and they dictate where you're going, and they dictate your actions. So if you're having negative thoughts, that's going to reflect in your business, and that's going to reflect in everything that you do. So it's really important that your mind is right and that you have the right mindset. And I really believe that's why I was a -2 Success Club points for the first 2 weeks of last month, is because my mindset was junk, because all those negative thoughts came in and I got lost in it. I got wrapped in it. And I had even thought about quitting. Obviously I didn't, and I won't, but it was a thought. And because I let those thoughts just keep building on each other, I was a -2 Success Club 2 for 2 freaking weeks. And it was horrible. And it wasn't until I changed my mindset, and instead of saying, why me? I said, what can I learn from this? How can I grow? What is the lesson out of this? And how can I pay it forward? Because I know every mistake I've made in coaching. I know all of the walls I hit. I know every struggle I've ever had within my business is for a reason. And that reason is so I can pay it forward, and I can help my coaches be more successful more quickly than I was able to be as a coach. And that's your job as a leader. And know that these struggles you're having now, they're for a reason. There's no accident. There's no coincidence. It's all synchronicities, and they're happening so that you can learn from them, and so that you can take that lesson, you can pay it forward, and you can teach someone else how to overcome that obstacle. But I think that's all I have. If you guys have any questions, feel free.
Yes, please ask questions if you have them. We got a ton of
No.
awesome nuggets from them and so many great things that I know I got. But yeah, I mean, when we talk and share on team calls, I love when people ask questions. So if anyone has any questions for Bree
Feel free
about
to,
anything, unmute
unmute
yourself and just ask away, please.
Yes.
You don't have to, but if you do do it.
The time is now.
Yeah.
We have her
I
here.
have a question.
Yes.
Hello. Hi, Bree.
Hi.
Thanks for hopping on our call.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. So my question is just, it's like kind of basic, but you were saying that at a time, and like I've met up with Katie before. I live in the same town as her, so we've talked about it. But she said that, and like you kind of touched on this too, just when you've said you're like sending out like a ton of invites, and I know now you probably have so many people that you've reached out to, like a lot of them could be follow-ups for you, but when you're reaching out to people for like the first time and you're like inviting them, like take us through like that process of inviting them, because I feel like I know it's come up on our group chats before that if it's someone that's like totally cold to you, you're not necessarily, and I mean maybe you are, but a lot of people aren't going to reach out and just be like, hey, I'm Catherine, nice to meet you, I do this awesome thing, come join me. But like maybe you do that, I don't know, and maybe that works for you. So just like take us kind of through, if it's somebody that you're trying, like if you're really struggling and you're trying to get a lot of invites out and you're trying to make a lot of connections, like how you tackle that.
So it's the end of the month. So all of my invites, if I were not in Success Club, they'd be hard invites. They would be invites to a sneak peek, invites to a challenge group, invites to the coaching opportunity. But I don't necessarily ever think any of my invites are ever cold, because I'm not like when I'm inviting someone, it's because I genuinely know that I can help them. I know with 100%, I go into every conversation with 100% certainty that I can change their life and that I have this gift in my hand that they can just unbox and, you know, they can transform their life. So I never ever feel like salesy like I did before. So depending on my invites, so, you know, on Facebook, I utilize the voice messenger system. I love. Do you guys get that? I really love the Facebook voice messenger because it's so personal. It builds a like, know, and trust so much faster than if you were to just send a message. And, you know, it's not scripted. I just send out voice messages inviting people to a sneak peek or to my challenge group, or just message them, you know, to get to know them better and form a relationship. And I've even had people join my team versus other teams who were invited by other coaches because they felt that they were scripted. And when I sent the voice message, they connected to me because that trust is built so fast when they hear your voice and then they hear you like fumbling over words or like laughing at yourself, and it just brings out the human and it brings out the connection, and they can connect to someone who is like goofy and kind of, you know, just fumbles over words and stuff versus someone who sends them a robotic script.
Got it.
Was that helpful? So I sent out a majority
helpful.
of Facebook voice message invites.
Okay. So, and I'm assuming that when you're like sending them out, you've obviously like kind of semi-vetted the person and been like, oh, like I've creeped through their pictures and like they look like they're into fitness. They look like there's something about them that you're like, oh, I'm going to reach out to this person. So I think sometimes like what I personally struggle with is in this, I don't want it to sound like cold, like in the way that you were kind of mentioning it too. But for me, sometimes I'm like, okay, I know that sometimes it is like a game of numbers as far as like, you are going to hear no's. So it just like timing wise, obviously if you reach out to 100 people, your odds are much better to get at least 5 that are going to respond back to you. And then those other 95 that you reached out to might be more warm to you down the line. But I just was wondering like kind of how like your process of like reaching out to people and like finding them, like what's worked for you, even though you're using like the Facebook Messenger, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So I find people like how you in Facebook groups, like common interest Facebook groups. You can join like literally anything that you're interested in. You can type it in the search bar in Facebook and you can find people who have the same interests as you and join groups and message people that way. Wait, is that what you're asking? Like, how do you find people to invite?
Like how you personally do it. Like you're like, oh, I'm interested in dogs, so I'm going to go join this dog group, but there's 50,000 people in there. Like, oh, I'm going to go alphabetically and just message all the Allens today.
Well, so what I'll do is, so I'll go to the members of the group and I'll open up like 5 or 10 tabs at a time of like the people who are in the group, and I'll stalk them and I'll creep on them because I don't want to invite people who I wouldn't click with. I don't want to invite people just to invite people. I'm very strategic with who I'm inviting because I want people on my team who I want to work with. I've had people on my team who like, they wanted to join and like, we just didn't click. And they end up quitting anyways, or like we just like, you want to be working with your friends and you want to be working with people who want to run with you. So I creep and I find people who look like we'd be good friends, like people who I'd even want to know, who I'd want to get to know better. And then I'll just leave their tab up. And if they don't, like, I don't think that we would be good friends, like maybe we don't click, or maybe like they have like a really trashy photo, like boozing, like that was like their entire timeline. I'm like, I probably don't want to invite you. So like, I'll just like exit out. And then whoever's left is like who I'll send my invites to.
Got it.
And you can do that through Facebook groups, through mutual friends. So if like you go to like, if one of your friends, you can like who you're really good friends with, you can click her friends and you can add people from her friend list. You can go through people you may know. So if you click like on your Facebook in the top, like, you know, where you can approve friend requests, there's like a whole people you may know to, or a tab where Facebook literally says like, hey, Bree, like you might be friends with this person. Like, do you want to add them? So you can add them there. And then on Instagram, it's all through like hashtags, or like I'll go to my favorite like fitness bloggers or like my favorite stores, and I'll click the people who follow that account. And then I'll just go creep on them and comment on the photos and like maybe send them a message or two.
Got it. And I don't know if anyone else has any questions. So if they do, like pop in. But I just was curious also what other social media you're using, because I know you're Instagram and Facebook, but if you're using anything else like a blog or YouTube or anything like that.
I have a website. I'm not very active with like updating it, but I do have a website. And then I like recently made 2 YouTube videos, and I'm kind of digging YouTube. But that's like a whole new like world of its own. So we'll see where that takes me. But mainly Facebook and Instagram is like where I recruit people and find people and like do everything.
Got it. Cool. Thank you.
Of course.
I have a question. Okay, first of all, I just want to say, Courtney and Cam, thank you. They let our team sneak onto this call, so I appreciate letting us all in. So, okay, so this is like a leadership question. I was somebody who never did the coach basics. I don't know if anybody has done it. So I don't know if I'm falling into habit of not pushing my coaches into the Vitalist training. I add them into there, and I feel like, I don't know if they like follow it, or, you know, or if I'm lacking on following it with them. Do you use the Vitalist training, like the coach basics and the Vitals? Like, do you find success with that? And then I found that my coaches were more interested in the diamond run with Barbie. And so I guess if you guys, Cam and Courtney and Bree, like if you guys ever want to like collaborate and continue with the diamond run, like we save the files and kind of do that again to push your team's growth with your, I mean, besides staying in phase 1. But I guess my question is like, where do you find success in leading your team?
So the thing with that too is you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink it. Like they have all the resources, all the tools, literally everything is at their fingertips. So the people who want to do it and want to run are going to do that. The people who don't are going to quit and they're going to fall off. And that's just kind of like how it goes, is what I found. But I do weekly calls with my coaches. So like I have like Acuity, or I use Calendly. I don't know if anyone has ever heard of that. And so my coaches can sign up for weekly accountability calls and check-ins with me. And I found that to be really, really productive because we get that face-to-face time, that one-on-one mentorship time. And I can help them with areas they're struggling in. But, you know, some of them do join the Vitals group. I moved my training to like a website so that it's like Facebook groups. There's like 1,500 of them. So like you can just take like, if you want to use Amy's training and you have a website, you can password protect like your website and like upload Amy's training or whatever training you want to do to the blog so that if they don't like Facebook groups or if they don't keep up with it daily. Because what I found is like when I'm in Facebook daily groups, like there's so many posts that they're not chronological anymore. It just kind of gets like chaotic. So like the Facebook training is, or the website training is all at their own pace. And then they can either binge it and do it all in one sitting, or they can take it day by day at their own pace. Is why I found to be most successful. Because I know that's what that's how I thrive, is when I can sit there and I can binge it, or I can take it day by day without getting lost in another group.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions? I don't want to talk and not keep this awkward silence going, but no, I wanted to add on just what like Bree was saying, because I love the Facebook Messenger too, because it's hard sometimes, especially when you're afraid of inviting or talking to people, sending like a written message, because tone is not in there. Like you could literally be like, I am so excited to help you, and somebody reads it that way and they're like, yeah, cool, but you message like, I'm so excited to help you or something, and they get the tone. And everyone knowing me, I literally have sent invites out in different like accents, and people love that shit. Like I will invite them like, you should do a workout with Cam and cool, and get really, and they're like, I don't know anything you just said, but I laughed and I want to do what you're doing. Like, because you can make it how you want. So like, I think what gets lost too is have fun with this, like make it your own. You got to enjoy it, and finding people you do want to connect with and bring into the business as coaches or just with challengers. Like you want to be working with people that you would have a good time with normally, and, just make it yourself, because obviously that's a big part of my brand is having fun. And if you can't tell that I have fun, then you're blind, because I have a lot of fun. So keep the fun in it for sure. Does anyone else have any questions for Bree while she's still on here?
I have to add one more thing. Okay, so I just created, like, you do the weekly sneak peek. So I just created a group. Like, I guess I'm going to try it in a group to go live for a weekly, like, sneak peek, like a coach happy hour. How do you do your weekly sneak peek? Do you do it as an event or a group, or that's my question, I guess.
I do it as a private group. I don't do them weekly anymore. I was doing them weekly this summer. Now I do them every other week, and then I open up one of those weeks to my entire downline. But I do it as like a closed Facebook group.
Okay, cool. Okay, I just created it, so I'm excited about that.
That's awesome.
Now, do you invite people and then add them in and then go live and just let them ask questions? Is that kind of like how you go about it, or can I ask you?
So I go live on the third day. Like if I had all the time, I would sit there and I would go live for every day, but like, sometimes that doesn't happen. So I have like videos I like recorded previously. So I'll just post the videos day 1, day 2, and day 3. And then in the evening at day 3, I'll go live again and answer anyone's questions. And, like they usually want to talk about money and time. And so I'll go more in depth into money and time live. And I love going live too in the last day, because it really adds the personal touch, because it's like, okay, it's not pre-recorded. This is literally her in her house, and it allows them to really connect with you.
Okay, on the question on that, your 3 videos, what are your 3 topics that you made?
So day 1, I post 2 videos. The first video is just like, welcome to the group, and comment below, like with a little bit about yourself, like, where you're from, photo of you, and what you're most excited about. Day 2 is my story, or part 2 is my story and like a coaching overview. So basically just like, not like bombarding them with information, but just giving them a little gist of what we do as coaches, because sneak peeks are really more about the story and not so much about like exactly what it is we do, because they want to connect with you as the leader of the team. But then day 2 is like coaching FAQ. So I'll answer, we'll talk about time. We'll talk about like, you don't have to be in the best shape of your life, just like commonly asked questions like that. But then day 3 is when we talk about money. And then the second video is when I go live.
Awesome.
But the first video too, when I talk about money, I just talk about like all of the perks that come along with coaching. I don't necessarily break it down unless they ask. I usually do that in my live video, because you don't want to overwhelm them with information.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Anybody else have any questions before we get off of here?
Yeah. Let her go.
Yeah, let her go because she's
It's a Sunday night.
Sunday
Everybody.
night. You know, everyone wants to relax Sunday night. But yeah, thank you to everyone who got on the call.
Yes.
You know, leaders get on calls and listen to this stuff. So kudos to all you guys
Showing up.
for showing up. Thank you so much to Bree for sharing. We really appreciate it. We love hearing other people's stories and having calls, and I like having other people talk because it's different, but it's a lot of the same stuff. So it reinforces like, hey, we're all saying the same things and doing the same things. You just need to believe in yourself and keep pushing forward. And you know, one thing that resonates with me, and I tell people all the time, but it's good to hear, is I think no matter if you're a top coach or you're a new coach, we all doubt ourselves a lot because we're human. So realizing that you're going to have negative thoughts and that's completely normal is huge, but you just keep pushing forward and keep doing it is the biggest thing. And like Amy's pet peeve, like she said, is people that quit, because why would you give up on what you've already done and on your coaches and your challenges? Why, if you're not giving up just on yourself, you're giving up on a lot of people, and you have to remember that. So thank you again, Bree, for hopping on here and taking the time
out of your day to talk with us. So
Thanks for having me, guys. Hopefully you got a few things from that call.
Oh yes, I got lots of notes
Yes.
myself at least.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we got some good stuff. So
yeah.
thanks again. I
Just
will,
stop recording.
when I get the recording up,